What's up guys? Today I'm going to do a quick video about technical analysis for charts. I believe everybody will really need this skill right now in the age of crypto and buying and selling, right? So basically I'll just do a very quick short series about it. If you really like this sort of series, please comment down below, let me know. Give me a like, give me a follow and share, right? And join my Telegram group for more messages, right? So okay, without further ado, let me just go to the charts, right? Let me just explain to you what does all these lines basically mean. Let me go to an empty chart, for example. So basically, I'm just focusing on this one candle, right? If you can look down below here, each candle here represents a day. 17 April, 18 April, 19 April, 20, 21 April, right? And if you look at the top left hand side here, right, you can see that the candles has the words OHLC. So O means it's open, means it opened the price at 61,000 here, around here, 61. O, H is high, the highest that the day it has been, H. L is the lowest that it has been, and close is where it closed, right? So basically OHLC, just remember by heart, is open, high, low, close, right? And there's also a percentage up there to show you what's the daily change of 8%. This trading charting that I'm using is tradingview.com. I suggest that you have your own template here, right? Have a count, have a template. You can use up to 3 free indicators, which I will explain a little bit further about that as well. So as you can see here, you can see this D. This D is basically a time frame, right? Time frame that represents each of these candles, right? For example, if I press D, it means it's a daily. So it means each of these candle represents a daily candle. This means it's 17, 16, 15, 14, etc. So if you want to go even nearer, 4 hours, right? So it means to say every candle here will be 4 hours. If you can see bottom here, for 18 hours, 14, 10, 2, etc. Right? So you get the idea. And then 1 hour chart, it will be shown as an hourly chart as well, right? And things like that. Knowing the open, high, low, close is very important, right? Understanding the chart, the bars, right? The candlestick is very important as well, right? Usually you should understand the few key candlesticks that's very important, right? For example, usually when you see a very green bar like this, right, 1 2 3 bar, it's usually called the 3 white crows, if I'm not mistaken, right? It usually shows a very bullish signal, right? So if let's say I'm on a daily candle, I'm here, right, 1 2 3, right, it has gone up 3 times, for example, as a stage, then the bullish trend is there, the very big bullish trend is there. And these 3 white crows usually represents big candle bars without the line on top, you know, this line. So this line is actually considered a wick, right? The wick that you see, the line here, it actually means that for example, this candle, it has opened around here, right? It goes to the highest here at the top of the wick, the lowest is here, and it closes here. So why they say if you find 3 green bars that is fully candle body without the line on top is very bullish, it is because the close is at the top, the highest point of the candle bar, right? And the same goes for the red ones as well. If you see 3 red bars consecutively, right? It doesn't always be necessarily the case, and always remember that technical analysis is not 100% correct, because there will be fundamental analysis as well to the Bitcoin. For example, fundamentals like news, or maybe there is some commotion, or maybe there is a bit ETFs for Bitcoin being approved, or maybe some scammer hacker news of Bitcoin. So this will affect the price of charts as well, right? So there's 2 things that always affect the price of the charts. One is the technical analysis that I'm showing you here, and the other one is the fundamental analysis, which is the open source news channels, right? And I believe I've shared some links for the fundamentals, which I won't cover as well. So that's one example as well. And for technical analysis, another important thing to take note is that even though they won't be 100% fully shown as what it is. So I just said 3 green candles, it should go up, but you look at here, it doesn't necessarily go up. For example, right here as well, green green green, but here you can see the wick is slightly higher here and the wick is slightly lower here. Wick is basically the line here, right? This line, right? This antenna here, right? And usually, as another good rule of thumb is that if let's say a daily candle, right, is were to close higher than the previous day's candle, right, it is usually a bullish sign, right? But it is not 100% 100% rule that it must be like that. So meaning to say, let me take a few examples. So this candle here, right, it open from here, open high low close. The next candle is higher, right, but the following candle is not, it's not bullish sentiment, right? Although it keeps going up here, right, it's going up, but it's going up at a slow pace, right, for example. And another thing to pair your candles understanding, it is also with the analysis of the technical analysis, the indicators here. So there's plenty of indicators that you can see here and use, right? The most simplistic one to understand, I would say, is the moving average, which is this green line, right? So moving average basically tracks the price of the candles for the last few days, right? Let's say you're on a 50-day moving average, so they will track the last 50 days. So this moving average is up on the 20, right? 20, and here there's another 50, right? For example. So it is things like that that you will track the moving average. And usually the good sentiment is that having a moving average indicator, whenever the moving average is touching the candles, it is usually to reverse its direction, whether to go up or go down. So let me just take an example scenario, right? Like here, whenever the moving average is below the candles, right, it's usually a uptrend, right? And whenever it is coming closer to touch the candles, it is usually signing a reversal, right? So you can see here, there's a slight reversal, as in a negative sentiment, and then it started going below the candle again. So tracking this one candle, pairing it up with this, understanding the chart, the candlesticks, it is a good indicator. So as a nutshell, right, moving average, if it's the candle bar is above the moving average, it is an uptrend usually. And if the candle bar is coming close to touch the candle, there's usually a negative sentiment that they will go for a reversal, right? This is one of the indicators that you should use, right? Moving average, you can usually set it at 50, right, as a benchmark. And another good indicator to also take note is the I would say the volume. This is basically the volume, a volume indicator, right? To see and show that the volume trend here, right? And whenever the volume it is below, or you can see some sort of red, so it usually signals some sort of negative volume, right, or a reversal here. But it is not 100% accurate, like I always say, right? And you can see here, even though there's a long down candle here, but it doesn't really affect the volume chart here. So it is by pairing these few things together, which is the moving average, the volume, as well as another one called MACD, right? Pairing these three things and understanding the candles, you will be able to track when should you get in or when should you get out from the market, right? And as I said, it is not 100% accurate, right? It is just an indicator, right? As we are not all predictors, all this analysis is just to predict, right? So for example, let's say I were to do a analysis for this candle, right? This candle itself. Looking at this candle, it is below, it is above the moving average, right? But it is close to touch this candlestick, right? So it might be signaling a bearish, right? Looking at some of the the bearish charts here, the bearish candle here, it is just coming off from a high here, right? So it might be signaling a downtrend, right? If I look at the volume, it's not telling me anything, right? That's where we pair it with another one called MACD, right? Which track the uptrend momentum and downtrend momentum, right? And you can usually track a reversal here as well. So if you can see here, the candlestick here, you can see that the amount of volume is reducing here for the uptrend, right? And as you can see this red signal here, you can see that is trying to signify that there are some potential downtrend. And when you see this red bar start forming below, then you can see there is some slow downtrend happening here, right? So this is just how I usually look at some of the charts, right? And also another important thing to pair this with, it is basically we call it the Fibonacci retracement, right? So basically the Fibonacci retracement is usually here, right? Fibonacci retracement. So it's basically a mathematical sort of chart analysis that uses mathematics to track the movement of the charts for support and resistance level. So it is usually measured by the lowest point in a set given point of time and pull it up until the highest set given point of time, like this, right? And as you can see, these lines here, this line, this line, this line, and this line, right? These are all potential support and resistance line. I say support when the chart is above the line. So let's say I draw this line, this is a support line. If I draw the line above the chart, it is usually a resistance line, okay? So the lines are calculated mathematically, right? For example, let me draw these lines here. But take note that all these lines that they are given for this analysis, it is not hard numbers, right? Because it might change from people to people, right? And using different periods of time. So that's something to take note, right? So how do you know whether a support line that you draw is a good line? The most important thing to take note is that the support line will usually be touching a lot of candle bars, right? So let's just take this example, right? For this specific candle bar here. So this bar that was given to me here, it can be adjusted to adjust it slightly lower so that it touches more candles here, right? This candle bar, it might be a bit irrelevant, so I'll just delete it, right? And this sort of understanding which candle bars and which sticks are something that you will learn over time, right? Or another way that you can do is just go to a website. So let's say you want to find for Bitcoin, I will usually just use investing.com, and I will search for Bitcoin, for example. So I'll usually use charts, lines given by other people, because I will take a lot of their support lines and put it into my chart to see whether it makes sense or not, right? As we know that all the support and resistance lines, it's not a fixed number, right? So let's say here it is a BTC to USD, right? Technical analysis. And these numbers here are for the hourly chart. So you need to change it to daily depending on which time frame to use, right? So which time frame should you use for this, right? If you, let's say you look in daily, right? So you should use a daily chart. If you're using, you want to see the more quicker, then you should look on the hourly chart and etc., right? So some of the numbers here, they are given, right, from here. So for me, what I will usually do is get some of the numbers here, plot it into the chart, right, and see whether it makes sense, whether the amount of candle bars are touching it as a resistance or a support. So let me take an example here, right? So if you can see, if I take this line is slightly okay. This one, no, slightly maybe not so good. So the line should be like this. Can be used as a form of support. So it can be used for support for here, right? Here, here, here. And it also acts as a resistance here, for example, right? And you can see that there's a trend line over here. 1, 1, 2, and currently we are here, 3, right? So you will know that over here is kind of a critical support line, resistance line, right? Because you see it's trying to go above here, but it can't, it got rejected. It's trying to go above here, but it got rejected. It managed to go up for a bit, and then it's coming back down here, right? So this is what signifies a good resistance or support line, right? If you're not sure to use the support resistance line, you can always try to look for other people's line, right? My chart is a bit messy right here, but basically some of the key levels are here, right? So these key levels, how would you use it? For example, so let's say we take Bitcoin daily, what it looks like right now, right? So what are all these lines here doing up? So let me just show you what I would think of it right now. Just analysis, not financial advice, right? So some of the crucial support level here is signified by this orange box, right? These orange boxes are taken by some of the other more expert analysis, right? And these are the lines that I plotted based on some of the reference lines. It has break this line right now, break a second line, and even break a third line. So right now, for current Bitcoin prices, it is hovering around this line, the 55,000 line, right? Should this daily candle, right, close below this support line, I foresee that it might go down all the way to either 52, right? Or it might go back up, or it might find support here, and it might try to break up this line again, right? So if let's say you are trying to queue orders and you're not entering the market yet, so what you can do is if let's say you're not sure where to buy, so you can either queue just right above this line, which is the next support line here, right? Do not queue directly at this number, because if it's a support line, it works as support, so you should queue slightly above so that it will look something like this, right? Imagine this line as this line, and if it were to bounce down as a support somewhere here, then you put your purchase order here, then you were to get the order here, right? And a lot of these Fibonacci lines are usually used by a lot of the technical analysis or daily traders, right? So the lines are quite respectable from them, except for things like this long candle here, right? It dropped so much and then it came back up, but at the end of the day, it is still it touches this line, but it goes back up, right? So if let's say BTC were to drop below here, below this line, probably your next Q can be somewhere here, right, around the 50,000 range. But if let's say it were to go up, right, you can also plan and time your Q around here, right above this support line, right? As usually when it breaks up, it will be looking to try to hover in this range, right? So this is for BTC, right? And there is also for Ethereum, for example. For Ethereum charts, it looks somewhat more positive, right? As you can see here. So the chart is looking positive in the sense of it is making the higher highs, right? What I mean by that, you usually take a line from the below, right? This to this, they're making higher highs. And it's making here as well as trying to make a higher high, right? So as you can see, people are drawing this line to indicate that it's making higher highs. Higher highs, higher highs. So probably to let Ethereum continue its bull market, it should try to break this line, right? So that the higher highs can keep continuing, right? Here, 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 and probably if it break here, which is a crucial number, which is its all-time high, So it can signify that Ethereum will be on an upward trajectory, right? If it stays around here, it might be respecting this line and hover around here to go up or maybe to go down, depending on how the market looks like, right? So it's based on and affected by technical as well as the fundamental news, right? So that is something that I want to share to you. In terms of that, if I'm looking at, for example, BNB chart, it is looking quite positive as well, right? Why do I say that? From the bottom perspective, it is trying to make higher highs, right? From the lower point of the high, it is going upwards trajectory as well, right? And the amount of volume here looks pretty positive here, even though they had a signal here as a negative signal. But let's see whether the signal can be continued upwards for here or not. So important close for BNB would be somewhere within this region, but ideally above here, above this line, right? Even if you can close above this line, it is considered good. 596, because they closed at 596 before here, as represented at the C above, 596.56. Let me see the close. Open high is a close, low close 551, right? As long as it is above 596, which is this line, 597, it is basically safe, right? Safe as in it is still in terms of an upward trend. And the other thing that I want to share is also about Bitcoin dominance chart, right? So what does this Bitcoin dominance chart mean? So it means that out of the market of 2 trillion or so, 2 trillion market cap, right? Bitcoin dominance is about the amount of money that is in Bitcoin. It's about 51% out of the 2 trillion, right? As it keep going down, right, and they start losing its Bitcoin dominance, the funds will go to anything other than Bitcoin, right? So that's why they always signify that as long as the Bitcoin dominance reduces, there will be more money that will flow to the altcoins. But that doesn't necessarily will happen sometimes as well, right? Because there are people that will just want to cash out, right, from the Bitcoin probably, and maybe hold in terms of a stable coin to be safe, right? And this is a few examples that I just want to share. Hopefully this is helpful in terms of understanding a little bit more about the charts, right? And if this is something that you're looking to learn more, hopefully that you can leave a like, subscribe to my channel, right? And let me know that I can do more of this sort of contents. All right, take care and appreciate your time. Peace.